All right, I think we have a good group here, Gav. I think
Yeah.
we should get started.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah, so we wanted to catch up with you, give you a little bit of back update on a little bit of context on our update attempts that we've done in December and January. And we also wanted to get say hi, see you guys, and ask for your advice on what we should prioritize.
I guess we're a little bit at a crossroad, and we thought, you know what, we should definitely talk to the community and just completely lay it out and get their input on it. I think that's probably the best thing to do at this point.
Yeah.
So this is why we're here today.
Yeah. So the context is we've shared a little bit of it, but about 6 months ago, mid 2024, we started an effort to improve the back end of Koala. The back end we've always been using is using Amazon Chime. I'll type it in the chat.
To be specific, we're talking about the video conferencing part. So the part that allows you to see your student, them to see you, and then hear each other. Everything else is separate. When we're just focusing on this part.
Yeah, yeah.
And the main reason, there were two reasons we were focusing on this part. One was there still are some kickouts, people getting kicked out, people having instabilities of all sorts. And the second reason was the cost. It's actually very expensive for us, very expensive. So we pay per minute per participant of usage, and it amounts to crazy amounts of money every month, basically. And so the reason, like those, because of those two reasons, we figured we need to have a better solution, an in-house solution that both we have more control over, which allows us to control more of the kickouts, and also like costs less for us, so we can sustain the sustain Koala eventually.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's also a little bit of a black box. Like let's say we get a disconnection. Um, like this, the service doesn't really allow us to dig deep. So yeah, so Ben started working on a solution that uses peer-to-peer, uses, I don't know if we get into too much details, but it's called
yeah.
WebRTC, Web Real-Time Communication.
Well,
Um,
basically, the idea was instead of going through Amazon servers that are charging us so much, we can go through most of the time we can connect people directly, especially when you're a one-on-one. And when that's not possible, then we can go through a server that's a lot cheaper than going through Amazon. And just to make a really long story short, it's actually a very difficult problem. It's actually easy to get it to work in 95% of cases, but there's 5% of cases where we always have problems like weird devices, weird locations in the world, weird situations, and so when we published those, we heard from about few percent of you guys that, hey, I'm having issues. I'm having more issues. So that was back in November. There were issues. So we
December
backtracked. We
10th,
went,
December 10th,
oh,
actually.
sorry, December, not December. Sorry, I apologize.
10th,
And
yeah.
so we backtracked, like, okay, let's take a step back, try to figure out what happened. And then we republished again, I think in January,
January 9th.
um, January 9th. And again, it was similar idea. Most people didn't even notice there was something new or there was a difference. And then there was a small percentage of people that were saying, but even like think there's like thousands of people using Koala, and therefore, even if we have like an extra percent of people complaining than usual, like we're already struggling to keep up.
Right.
It's already a lot. So at this point at this point we're considering fully backtracking. It seems to be fine for most people, the way it is today. I'm not talking about the new update, talking about how it was before, unless you guys say otherwise. But so far, I mean, for most people, it's okay. And yes, it's very expensive for us, but we'll just have to find different ways for us to compensate for that. I'm not sure how we're going to do that, um, but so far, our current thought was like all this work, let's put it in the closet for now because we could be sinking probably another month or two on this. And while we're working on this, we're not building new stuff for Koala. We're not improving playground. We're not improving whiteboard. And it's been there's sort of a sunken cost fallacy to this a little bit. We've been sort of on this treadmill thinking we're this close, like this 1% of people. And these final percents are just so hard, so difficult that it takes an infinite amount of time. I'm exaggerating, of course, but you get the idea. It takes a lot of time for us to solve them. So we've decided, let's stop this. This is ridiculous. This is madness. Let's put this on the side. We don't have to throw it away. Maybe one day we'll get back to it. But for now, we want to refocus on what's important, which is features, things that you guys actually want, not some backend stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Kathleen says you don't get any kind of discount from Amazon. We don't. They don't
We
care.
used to.
We used to have a
Yeah.
yeah, sorry. We used to have credits for being a startup. Amazon is nice. They give you credits in the beginning, but once you're out of credits, it's over and there's no way to get more credits unless you create a new company, I guess. Um,
So
question from Aaron.
as we say it internally, we've been funding the new yacht of Jeff Bezos, all of us. So,
Yes. He's very happy.
so thank you all for your
Uh,
contributions.
so there's actually a good question from Aaron here. Does it cost you when I have my video on while I'm waiting for a student? Okay. So if you, the first time you open your classroom for the day, say you open the classroom, meaning you go to the website, right? And you click invite student. In that case, if you're waiting for your student at that point, we're not charging, we're not getting charged. However, as soon as the student joins, we are getting charged. Now, if the student leaves and you still stay, you don't refresh the page, you're still alone in the room, then we're still getting charged. So I know some people, the student leaves and they leave it running maybe for hours. No, we're paying, and we're paying for those hours. And it's expensive. But so I guess I can't hold you accountable for this. You guys have to live your life, and if you forget, you forget. But ideally, if you're done with the class, just refresh the page or close it. Up to you, because that saves us some money. And Laura saying she's getting disconnections. It could be due to internet, but it could also be due to Chime. I'm sorry, I'm reading questions here. This would be very helpful for us to know. Yeah. You had a list of approved devices that work with new platform. We can make sure our students do. I mean, typically, for the devices we recommend iPads, relatively new, like within 5 years. I'm sorry, yeah, relatively new within 5 years in 5 years, I know it means 2020 now, which for me, 5 years is like, 2016. No, it's 2020. And any PC, so Windows computer, again, within 5, 6 years. I mean, I know in some cases, even 10 years, you can make it work, but I would recommend 5 years. And then Macs are usually fine. So that's what we recommend. Okay, I think I've answered most of the questions. So yeah.
Yeah.
Zeb, do you have yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, no, so there's something called the sunken cost fallacy, which has maybe been in our mind lately. You say, we've spent so much energy into this, we got to take it to the end. And I think this is why we've been doing for the last 6, 7, 8 months. And Ben has worked so hard on it, and he has a little baby keeping him up at night, so he doesn't have the same amount of hours that he used to have. But we're also realizing that we're neglecting important features with you guys. So basically, we decided yesterday that we're going to shelf it. We're going to put it on the back burner. Maybe it will come back at some point. But we would love to hear from you guys about what you think. What do you urgently need from us? Is it on Whiteboard? Is it on Playground? Is it on co-browser? Can you
So
give us? Yeah.
and maybe to guide the process here, the thought process, maybe we have some ideas and we've gathered them from Canny, we've gathered them from private conversations, from things like that. And so we kind of have a list of things. So sorry, I'm reading what Aaron says. Most of us are business owners, so in my honest opinion, we are good with doing what we can to help make it profitable for you. Oh, that's very nice, Aaron. Yeah. And then okay, whiteboard. All right, here we go. So do you have a slide or something with the list or not
I
really?
have a list. I have a list here that I can paste it. But for now, let me just walk you through those ideas that we listed together yesterday, Ben, okay?
Well, maybe it would be good to throw it on a whiteboard and share your screen so we can visually see it. If that's
Okay,
okay
sounds
with you?
good. All right. Give me 1 second. Talk about your baby for 30 seconds while I set it up.
Well, I'm going to read some comments here. Yeah, of course, yeah. Co-browser teacher control of pen and pointer. Huh. That's an interesting one, Valerie. I'm interested in this one. I don't think I've heard this one before. Maybe you can elaborate on this. What do you mean by teacher control? Because right now you don't have the control.
Do you want me to speak?
Yeah, sure,
Okay.
sure. Yeah, that'd be better.
Okay.
Yeah,
In other companies that I've worked for, the teacher has control. Like you can turn the pen on and off. And like if you want the student to draw, you click on the pen and they draw. If you want to point, I think I sent a video to someone showing where it's like a circle and
yeah,
it's like a pulsing circle so you can point and click on things and then it focuses on different pictures or words or things like that. For my younger students, it's really helpful because they like to click on the pen and scribble and whereas if I have control over it, then I can turn it on and off based on what I want them to do.
interesting. Well, my understanding is we have those features, but maybe not in the format that you want them. Because you can disable the ability to enable or disable the ability to draw. You
Right,
can use a pointer, which is we call it the vanishing pen, whatever.
right,
And
right.
you can disable or enable the ability to control the browser at will, but maybe it's not exactly in the way that you want it.
It's
Would
like
that
the
be
younger
fair?
children don't always understand how to do that.
Okay,
So, whereas if I have the control, then I can say, okay, there's the pen, and then they
I
use the
understand.
pen,
Yeah.
and
So
then
if you
pointer.
directly enable, hey, right now you draw, and then they're
Yes,
drawing. If you, oh, right
yes.
now you're control. Okay, I see your point.
Hmm.
It's an interesting one. All right, so I'm going to read the things here. Let's see. Ability to paste images into Playground like you can in Whiteboard. Oh yeah, that's a good one. The kids are able to move things around on co-browser things in there, but you can't just disable their control. That doesn't work for Cynthia. Uh, all right, maybe you can answer later. Student is no longer interested in the playground and keeps asking about his eggs. Interesting. Have the eggs not hatched, Laura? Um, Somehow my student wipes out locked features. Huh. On the whiteboard or on the playground, Rachel? And then, oh, interesting.
Whiteboard.
Uh, Whiteboard. So did they find a way to delete lock stuff? Um, maybe there's a secret way to do it that I'm not aware of.
Well, and Katie also said it. I thought it was just me, but then Katie seconded it. So something's going
Okay.
on.
Yeah, clearly.
Oh, the Muppet.
Big deal. Still learning about Ben. Wants to know if nuts about
What?
getting his. Okay.
Paul's what?
Okay.
The Muppet.
Sorry,
very
Laura. I'm
good.
gonna mute you, or I can't mute her. Maybe Xav, you can mute her.
You should.
Done.
Thank you. Okay. All right. For saying hash, so I did not. Okay. I see. You know, with everything, and I appreciate all you do. Two things I would use with young children could include a color wheel for more color choices, an eraser that just erases what we want. Oh yeah, interesting. There's the whole pen stroke. Huh. That's a good one. I don't hear any I haven't seen so far anything like, oh, I want to have like a customizable spinning wheel or flippable flashcards or things like that. I mean what you're saying is very I'm not saying it's what you're saying is very interesting. I don't think we have those on our list. So it's good that you're telling us.
Ben, do
But
you want me to show what we had in mind
yeah,
yesterday?
sure, yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. And then, of course, please add, Ben, I'll let you add your comments, okay, as I go through them.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So there's 3 categories: whiteboard, playground, and admin. And those are just ideas. Of course, we wanted to hear your thoughts about them. On whiteboard, so this is fast quiz generation. the idea is to save you time. Maybe Ben, I'll let you.
Well,
comment.
actually, if I may, I think those are examples, but what the
Yeah.
idea that we had in mind here is a more general from is like adding tools, like more complex tools than just images and text and things like that. And examples that we can talk about here are quizzes, spinning wheels. I had a bunch that I had listed here. Give me a second. Things like maybe a calculator, and all those tools would be shared, meaning like they would be on your whiteboard, right? You could place them on the whiteboard, and anybody anybody in the classroom would be able to interact with them. A timer, a proper shared timer, not a timer that's just for you. Like polls and like all those tools that you might have in other places.
And Ben, can you
already
talk
said-
more about
yeah.
like how would it work? How would a teacher generate a quiz using this AI that you have in
Well, I
mind?
mean, the AI part is not that important. What's important is that you be able to put a quiz on the board anytime you want. It could be before the class, during the class, whatever. The quiz, of course, you can edit it manually. You can put your own questions and your own answers. But if you run out of time, we could integrate with some AI tool for you to just say, "Hey, I want a quiz about geography, European countries, just generate it for me." So that would be something we could
You
add.
could generate a quiz like this in one sentence.
Yeah.
So it's something you wouldn't even need to prep before. You could do it on the spot.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like to. I know the word AI is a little bit overused these days, to put it
Yeah.
simply. In this particular instance, it's really just to help you build a quiz real quick, real fast.
Yeah.
And it would be we could add that everywhere, like on a spinning wheel. Should you want to have inspiration or an idea of, or even like, I don't care, I just want a spinning wheel about, I want 7 options and I want them to be these options or whatever.
Like make
Yeah,
me
and
a
I said,
spinning wheel. Make me a spinning
yeah,
wheel with all the European countries, and so that we'll have to guess the capital of
right.
countries.
Same for flashcards. You can imagine something similar where you could still edit them manually if you want, but if you want to use AI, you can also use that if you want to do that. That would be something that would be cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's sort of the main idea we had for whiteboard was to improve that part. Of course, the stuff you mentioned is also interesting, and we should definitely download this chat that after.
Yeah.
And then and more math stuff. I guess we don't have a lot of math stuff. Like I said, a calculator would be good. Maybe something to write equations. I don't know, graphing, things like that. We could definitely work on those stuff. The second main theme thing, and we're gonna have to pick one because we can only do one at a time. I'm gonna be honest with you. We don't have the resources to do everything at once. But on the playground side, I know that we have in the pipe at least 2 or 3 different themes of assets. Like I think we had medieval, we have underwater, and we have others in there that we just haven't had the time to integrate, to be honest with you. And so those could be a focus. We could work on that. And then similar to the tools that we talked about in whiteboard, we could have some in the similar ones in playground, flippable, spinning wheel, all those things. It's a whole different effort. Unfortunately, we can't really reuse. I mean, some of it we can, most of it can't be reused from playground to the whiteboard. So we're gonna have to redo it. It's kind of annoying, but and then we talked about some people wanted co-browser and playground. I know it's a big thing. Oh, all right. So just first, I guess the playground stories one will probably be a whole separate thing, but okay. I mean, just at least for the 3 first ones we talked about, I want to read the comments. There's been a lot of comments flowing. I apologize, I haven't been reading them.
Where's the
So
puppy?
what was that?
With you? Okay.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Thought you were talking to me. All right. Okay, so there's some whiteboard glitches that need to be fixed. It seems like, Aaron. Okay, well, we can do that. A dictionary, that's a great idea. Yeah, or image generator. So those are all tools we could add easily we could add to the whiteboard. You can imagine having sort of a drawer of tools you can bring up, and you have, like I said, like flashcards, spinning wheels. A dictionary is a really cool idea. We could just go and add things easily to that, right? And you can just place them in the whiteboard. Yeah. Okay, those are awesome. AI images would be cool. Yeah, we can definitely do that. In a way to Google search, yeah. Mine sometimes wipe out. Yeah, okay. Flippable sticky notes. That's a cool idea. So having sticky notes that can be reversed, and you can see what's behind them.
That's number
Spinning
2
wheel.
on Tammy. Number 2 most
Yeah.
requested on
Oh,
Tammy.
really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Flashcards would be awesome. Okay, well, I mean, it sounds like if we had a lot more interactive tools that are easy to use and easy to customize, whether it's with AI or not, and then you can have like some pre-built ones you can copy and move around. That sounds like it would be very helpful for whiteboard at least. Anyways, sorry, I'm trying to read through here. Most of my kids have been waiting for animal assets. Yep, animal assets. Well, that's the idea of the eggs, that we were going to have more animals. Same thing, we just haven't had the time or the. Would love a homework portal where teachers can set up. Okay, we'll talk about the homework stuff because it's going to be in the class management section. Playground stories. Okay, I was about to talk about that. Pronunciation guide. Oh, I love that. That's a cool idea. That could be something we could add to our interactive tools. My comment got buried, but we really need a typing tool and grouping tool in the playground. Yes. So I know a lot of people were requesting this for maybe more than a year now. So I definitely, I mean, that would be something that we could add to playground as, more interactions. Is it possible to allow students to edit their avatars before the teacher accepts them, Nicole? Yeah, that's a cool idea. We could definitely do something like that. Group deleting of items in playground. So that goes with group selection. That would be something we could do. Flippable sticky notes and different colors for whiteboards, dictionary, flippable notes. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, thank you for that. It's very helpful. I'm getting the feeling that, and this is just based on just reading I have no idea, but I'm getting the feeling that whiteboard stuff sounds like would be a bigger bang for a buck here. I could be wrong. Yeah. Oh, cool. Dave, thank you for sharing this. I'll definitely take a look. Enough to be able to rename tabs and move the tabs around. Are you talking about, Aaron? Are you talking about co-browser? Not sure what you mean by tabs. Use the whiteboard. I think most people use whiteboard like 80%, 90% of the time. We have some people that use playground a lot. I would say I don't think they're the majority, if I understand well. If we could type a word, and I don't want to let them down, obviously. So it's definitely playground is important to us. Yeah, and it uses playground a lot. Oh, browser. Okay. Oh, activity labels. Oh, I see. Okay. Is that what you mean by tabs? Yeah, moving the activity label. Okay. All right. So just going back to playground here. So I already listed 3 of the improvements, and you mentioned also group selection, and there's other, I think, improvements we can do around interaction. A big one that almost deserves its own category would be improving the whole playground stories thing. I know that it's barely usable today because of a few things. One is even to publish a playground story, you need a Stripe account. And I think for most people in the US, it's not that big of a deal, but I think, it's still kind of a pain. You should be able to publish a playground story without having a Stripe account.
Maybe,
Like
Ben,
if
it's
you,
worth
yeah.
reminding everybody what a playground story is.
Sure, yeah. So when you create a playground, you can publish it as a story, which means that your student will be able to play it or do things in it outside of class time, sort of on their own time. And I can show this. I mean, it's very easy to do today. It just requires a Stripe account. It's really annoying. And the idea here would be to make it a lot easier and much more accessible so that you can do more of this. So one is when you want to publish a playground story today, it needs to be approved, which is silly because if you're just trying to do it for free and you just want to send it to your students, why do you need to be approved? And then also, you shouldn't need a Stripe account. Now, some of you actually like the idea that you can charge for stories. And right now, the way it works is people that want to play your non-free stories, they sort of pay for a subscription toward like with you, basically. And the subscription right now is extremely expensive. I think we have it set as $13 a month. And so most people don't, like most parents are like, "What- I'm not going to pay $13 a month. It's ridiculous." But I think some of you, like Dina and others, had mentioned, and we want to bring the price down to like $5 or something like that. But I don't know if there's that much interest in Playground Story, to be honest. Most people don't even know that it's an option. Yeah, I'm reading here, like to use Playground more, but most students with older devices, they can't be. Oh yeah, if you have really old devices, it won't work very well. Okay, yeah. Well, if you have interest with Playground Stories, like throw them in your comment. Otherwise, I'll assume that most people like just whatever. Cool. All right, so that's the Playground Story category. The other main thing is class management. So we talked about tools like that you can directly use in your classroom, like spinners and things like that, clickable sticky notes. I think there's a whole other theme, which is tools that allow you to sort of meta tools, right? You don't use them directly in the classroom, but they could be helpful for you to manage your students, manage your time, manage, like try to remember the classes that you did and things like that. I know we barely have any of those, to be honest. If I don't think we have any. So this is the whole theme we could explore and prioritize if you guys think it's important. So for example, class summary, we could have some, of course it's an option, it wouldn't be required, but you could essentially click a button to record, quote unquote, and the audio would be recorded, then we would transcribe, then we would summarize, and like you'd be able to see all your classes and all your summaries and things like that. The big one was the scheduling. I know a lot of you have to go through other platforms to schedule, and it's kind of a hassle. And so that's something we could also add as an option is a way for you guys to offer scheduling. You could say, hey, I'm available these days, and your parents could select, oh, I want to book a class with you on that day or at that time, et cetera, et cetera. And of course, there's other things in this list we could add, but the big one that we heard from you guys is some portal for you to communicate offline asynchronously with the student or the parent. So that could be used for homework. It could be used for follow-ups. It could be used for whatever you guys do, similar to, I don't know if you guys are familiar with, what is this thing called? I forget. No. I'm sorry, I forgot. I'm losing my mind. It doesn't matter. There are tools out there to do this.
To do the
But
homework
super,
management.
or like asynchronous communication between the teacher and her class of students. Yeah. And I guess there's Tutorbird out there. That's okay. Or excellent. Sorry, Kathleen. So that's also the reason why we haven't prioritized these, because I know that there are some tools out there that are really good and that some of you use. And so we don't know whether it's actually that helpful for us to build them versus you just use what's out there already. Anyways, let's read comments here. Sorry, it's been flowing and I've been missing them. Yeah. Yeah, Dave, Playground Story could be huge. Some changes. Yeah, another thing about Playground Story that we haven't listed here is maybe the ability for students to play together if they want a specific story. Because right now a story can only be played by one student. But if you have multiple students that want to like, I don't know, solve one of your challenges or your exercises together, that could be something we could do. And having gems available in the Playground Story, yep. Yeah, right now it's horribly designed. And I think parents might be willing to pay for gems in the playground. Okay. Yeah, possibly. That was the original idea. If we don't spiral behind stories, is like try to get parents more involved. But I don't know, it didn't really pick up. And it could be because it's just poorly implemented or there's too many obstacles. Shapes on the whiteboard. Yeah. So that's one part of the tools we could add is the ability to draw different shapes for the whiteboard.
And requested a lot.
Mathematical shapes.
Yeah.
So, rectangles, squares, circles, triangles, etc. It would be awesome to have also a shape detection tool where you draw approximately the shape you want and it simplifies it to the closest mathematical shape. Anyways, Kathleen, repeating in case it was missed. Organizational tool in whiteboard. A better way to organize or group activities so you don't have to scroll and read a bunch of them to get what you want. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. So, I mean, for activities, we have the search feature and we have the label feature thing. But I understand that, it's not perfect. I mean, I guess from what I'm hearing from Kathleen here is like, yeah, it's okay. It's like a better way to do this. Sierra, class management, being able to organize activity labels. So that's very similar to what Kathy's saying. And I understand that we could definitely improve this. If you can compete with Tutorbird, I'd totally go for it. But Tutorbird does a lot more than just scheduling, right? If I understand well, they also do finance, planning, and things like that. Or you can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not too familiar with Tutorbird. Thank you. Scheduling class management would be awesome. Yep. Okay. I would be interested in purchasing things from the marketplace, but do not want to have to start a Stripe account. So you shouldn't need a Stripe account, right? Oh, exactly. You answered. You shouldn't need a Stripe account to buy things from the marketplace. It's just if you want to publish in the marketplace. And yeah, okay. Thanks, Katie, for reminding us of the search engine. All right, so this is something I'm not familiar with, and I need you guys to educate me. An Alconin box, and I don't even know if that's how you pronounce it. I have no clue. What is that? Oh, Annette says. Oh, it would be great. Can somebody explain to me what that is? And I mean, I can also look it up and search, but I just figured it'd be good to hear directly from you. Yeah.
This is Dr. Gulek. The boxes allows students to isolate sounds, phonemes, graphemes in
Okay.
boxes that are already pre-made, but each word is going to have a different amount of boxes. So if the boxes were already scheduled, placed on a board, and we as teachers or tutors, we can just slide them up and then the students can fill in. It would take a lot of
Yeah, I love
time.
that. I mean, that could be part of the tools we could add. I love it. I mean, they should definitely take note of this. And, I mean, it wouldn't be too hard to build, probably. So that's great. I love it. Thank you. If you have more of those very technical things, I would love to hear them. Or sorry, somebody else said something.
I just want to throw out there that when you
Yeah.
create a playground or a whiteboard for a reading classroom, you're often, if you use tiles in your work, or is similar to Elkonin boxes, you have
Mhm.
we have to build each individual letter on each individual sticky note. So we have to pull up a sticky note, change the color, put the letter in. You have
Oh,
to
it's
do that
so
for
much
every
work.
single. It's
Yeah.
so much work. If we could just, I don't know if you can code this, but if you could just type in the words you want and then have it put it on the sticky note for you. Even if you had to go in and generate all the sticky notes, and if you could like even somehow position it, like put it here in my playground on this
Yeah.
wall right here. And then all you have to do is type in your words and then they would just be already formatted into the sticky notes. Even if you had to like go and fix a little bit, like with the TH, I mean, some digraphs maybe could be recognizable, but of course there's so many words and combinations. Even if I had to go in and change some of the little sticky notes and make a TH one or something, that would be easier than having to
Totally.
create
No,
every
I
single
hear
individual
you.
sticky note.
I think I'm sensing a more general theme, and I really hear what you said. And that's really, really helpful actually. But maybe a general theme would be, hey, make Koala more convenient because it's so much work having to do all these things in general. Like we have tools, but they're so basic that it's just so much work to do something with them. In general, I would say. But then I also hear it, and specifically for this use case, like, it would be great if you could just type the word and it populates the sticky notes. Go ahead, Lisa.
I'm curious to know, and I you don't have to like give me numbers, but a lot of this is kind of like you said, the convenience, the dream, if we could dream our wildest dream for Koala, what would it look like? This is kind of what I feel like what we're doing right now. But I'm really thinking of the dollars and cents part of this, like to have these extra feet. I will say, for me personally, I feel like what I get with Koala is a great value. And I'm not just saying that because I'm talking to you all, it's because I know what I pay for other services and other applications, and I know what I'm able to do with those compared to what I do. Like Koala is essential to my business. So I'm trying to think, like, if we're being realistic as, you know, your customers, as your clients, with what we want to pay for these features, for you all to add them, like, you know, the
Oh,
cost
are you saying that?
benefit analysis, you know, is this realistic to have some of these things, and to
Yeah,
then understand what it would cost, you know, for you all to offer them?
right, right. That's a good question. I mean, I don't think we've talked about this enough, to be very honest with you, and I don't have a straight answer to give you right now. A lot of these tools that we're talking about, they wouldn't cost us more on a recurrent basis, except if we start putting things like AI and things like that. And of course that's costs us every time you call AI, it costs us. Um, I don't have a good answer for you at this point. Like I'm not gonna say I don't want to say, oh, you know, it's all free forever. I don't know. I don't know. But I think the truth of the matter is, we've been very good with, I think, locking people into their current deals, and we think that's part of who we are as well, right? Um, yeah, I'm pretty sure if you've been from the beginning, Lisa, you're probably locked into a really good price. I know a lot of companies don't do that. Netflix, they just increase on you, and she's like, I don't have a choice, and that's how it is. Um, Yeah, I mean, you know, what we really want is, I think we've been the general idea here is that because we've been so focused on this silly, it's not silly, but on this update that we really wanted to push through. I think we've neglected you guys. We really truly feel like that. We feel like we've been neglecting a community, neglecting, you know, what you guys really need. And I think the conversation is, how do we make sure that, hey, how do we bring life back to Koala? I know Annette, for example, you had posted something like that on Facebook. I think some folks have been, what's going on? Like, there's no new stuff. Um, and you know, outside of, I understand that the cost conversation, um, we what we really interested in is bringing life back to Koala. Yeah, go ahead. I think somebody has. Go ahead.
Actually, this is such a great question that Lisa just brought up. I never thought about it. I am fairly new to Koala. I started in the
Mhm.
summer. And I switched. Can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Yep, we can hear you.
Oksana, my name is Oksana. I was using Zoom for years and loved it, loved it, loved it. What I actually would like to bring your attention to, improving the tools that we already have. Because listen, for example, when you're working with a sticky note, every single time, like you're in a sticky note mode, you don't, I would love not to click every single time to make a sticky. I'm in a sticky mode. I just want to click on a screen and it opens a sticky right away. And then when I want to switch to typing, then I go to switch. Right now,
Right.
constantly, you have to click and click and click, and it's like, ah! Another thing, straight line. Oh my gosh. Can we just have what I would suggest, instead of adding all those elaborate features, let's improve what we already have, because great ideas, fantastic. I love the thing. And I know you're using your, what are you doing right now? You're using your whatever, the shift button, right?
Shift. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't work with little kiddos. Can we just have
Yeah.
choice for the straight line? Like
Yep.
Zoom, whiteboard tools are fantastic. And I am been working with that since summer, and both myself and my students are having hard time navigating the whiteboard tools that are there. And
Yep.
I'm actually working with challenging kids. Everybody's throwing off with the odd colors. Why there are no
Oh, really?
red? It's
Interesting.
like kids are annoyed, like, with the colors. Yes, and another thing is just the tools that we have on the whiteboard, they are not friendly. Like I am typing and I want to type in red. I don't want to always type in black and then go and change the color. What we
Yeah.
already have, if we can please improve it, that it's easy instead of that AI and all that complexity. And I didn't realize, since I'm new, I didn't realize that we have to increase the cost for all those tools. I'm actually not using them all. But what I use,
Yeah.
I would like that it would be easier to navigate. And I realized I'm going to send some ideas. I didn't realize that this is what I have to do to bring your attention to it. Thank you for your time. And wonderful platform. I love it. My
Yeah,
kids
no.
love it. Mhm.
I appreciate that. That was very helpful. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think we needed a little bit of tough love on the on some of the tools. I mean, just for information, and this might not do the trick for you, but if you want to just keep placing sticky notes as you're clicking, you can just double click on the sticky note button. If you double click on the sticky note button, then you go into this mode where you keep creating sticky notes, but maybe it doesn't work for you. Yeah.
That feature doesn't work for me all the time, and it doesn't work for the students because I saw that in the text box it says you have to double lock to lock it. It doesn't. That's why it would be nice just to have it as an option. If you click on this
Okay.
button, you just type. Now you want to switch to stickers, you click on stickers and create stickers. That would be much easier than, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Good stuff. I hear you. I think, maybe the tools are just not easy enough for kids to use and just not ergonomic. I'm reading other folks seem to agree with this. We put items in straight line, keep it simple. It's hard for kids, even co-bars are having issues. Some kids not understanding how. Okay, yeah. Functionally, this is best bells and whistles. I mean, when we say bells and whistles, we're not really saying things we're trying to get the things that are actually useful for you guys. We don't want to build something that's useless, obviously. Within the Tuesday informational meeting, yeah. So Kathleen's asking, can we attend the Tuesday informational meetings even if we are new? Yeah, if we're not new, yeah, of course, definitely.
So welcome.
But I think another thing here is that I think we should have advanced webinars again, Xav. Something we should probably do.
Yeah.
Having these conversations that we're having right now on a more regular basis, I think is very helpful. Caught on. This is, yeah.
And just to confirm, so the idea of the class summary, I know Zoom implemented that recently. Is just it listens to your class and then at the end it generates a summary that you can easily share with parents, for instance, or keep it for yourself. You're not really interested in this. This is not too valuable for you. Yeah, Lisa.
I could benefit from that. I mean, it's not like it wouldn't be a high priority, but it would definitely be a benefit.
Okay, got it.
But it sounds like the more high priority is make whiteboard more ergonomic, easier to use for kids. That's probably the top one thing here.
Yeah, okay.
I think it's a lot of work to like that what was just said, to create sticky notes and change the text color and things like that. It's just very I'm trying to read here. My parents don't really ask for summaries yet. I don't think the summary thing is that important because otherwise we would have heard about it already.
Yeah.
We have a question here from Dr. Judith.
Let's see. Okay, audio. Okay, so when you're talking about this class summary, is there any possibility of infringing personal or liability, if that makes
Like privacy?
sense? Yes.
I mean, we would design it in a way that it's compartmentalized, so it wouldn't be possible for other students or other people or anybody else to get to the summary except you and maybe the parent, and that's it.
Okay. That would be my major concern.
Yeah. But I don't think it sounds like nobody really wants this,
It
like
sounds
top
like
of
it's
the
a
list.
topic. Yeah.
So I don't think we should spend too much time on this thing anyways.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's just that AI has gotten too far into our lives. And
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Yeah, and you know what? Just scratch that for now. Let's not even consider that for now. I don't think people are like, this would be such a game changer for me that I really need this. It's not a hair on fire problem. Let's put it that way.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, so Kathy is saying something interesting. I think that a lot of the requests being made are for features that already exist. It sounds like people just don't know how to use them. Okay, so I like that take, Kathy. Of course, that would make my life easier because I don't have to do anything. But the truth of the matter is, the fact that people either don't know how to use them or they know and it's too complicated, that's our fault, right? Um, so I see it as that's the hair on fire problem. Is like, yeah, the features are cool, but too hard to use, or not friendly enough, or not ergonomic enough. Kids don't know how to use them. It takes me way too long for me to explain it to them. And even if it is possible to do, great. But if it's not usable, like it kind of defeats the purpose. So, um,
And please don't say that it's your fault. It just you don't use it as we do, and you don't realize
yeah,
what
yeah, yeah.
it's
But
definitely so
I'm not
appreciated.
taking I'm not taking it personally. I'm not gonna go and cry in my bed after this. All I'm trying to say is I appreciate that, you know, this is our responsibility. We need to step up our game on this topic. Um, yeah, yeah, no, so this is a good one, Holly. Consider an end class button. We actually have one, but only for in certain situations. But yeah, we might add an end class button. That's a good idea. All right, well, there's a lot we'd like to do here. I would like an addition of math tools as I tutor math students. Yeah, for sure. All right, so I just want to take a step back here and reflect on the conversation we just had. It sounds to me like the top priority is improve whiteboard, make whiteboard a lot better, more convenient, easier to use. You don't necessarily need to add too many features yet. Start with improving what's already there. But also, it would be also like really helpful to have, you know, extra tools that allow that enhance my ability to create content. Go ahead, Lisa. Sorry.
I'm sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you. I
No,
wanted
no,
you to
please
finish
go.
your. Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking about, and this is, I just want to kind of know what's the best practice when it comes to the size of activities. I know you've talked about that. When they get too large, that can tend to kind of, I think you said that it affects the bandwidth or something like that. I think you said that it does have an effect on our user experience. And so I'm curious, like, what do you think could be a way for us to, you know, because I know I have some of my activities, they are, you know, 50 to 70, you know, pages. And it's hard for me to remember, oh, go back and delete those from before.
Yeah.
Is that really imperative to our user experience? And I'm just trying to think of ways to be more efficient with that.
Have you guys ever heard the word technical debt? Is that something you've heard before? Does that sound familiar?
I've not heard
Okay,
of
so
that before.
okay, so the word technical debt refers to when you design a technical part, typically software, of course. It can be hardware, but software is definitely concerned by this. In the early days, you're going to make some choices. And typically, you'll make those choices for reasons like we need to get something out the door real quickly, or we have this problem. Let's patch this problem and not worry too much about the future. And what usually happens when you do this is you make choices that are sort of short term, but come back and bite you in the butt in the long term. And that the activity system that we have is one of those. The way we've built it was back in the day, we assumed people wouldn't have a lot, like more than 10, 15, 20 slides maybe. And we built it in a way that makes it really hard to support a lot of slides. Now that said, but I heard this so many times. It sounds like it's time for a redesign, to be honest. I mean, I'm an engineer, so of course, when I hear these things, I'm like, crash this whole freaking thing and let's start from scratch and like let's think about a better way to build this that supports infinite amounts of slides essentially. So I hear your feedback. I think there's not much you can do apart from having activities with your slides and breaking it up. I think it's mostly on us to rethink our design here and think of something that supports this use case, because it's not a crazy use case as we thought in the beginning. A lot of people have this. I know Aaron, who's with us today, I believe, one of the Aarons, Lens, she had this problem, and I know all sorts of folks that had this problem. So yeah.
Okay, to
Um,
piggyback on that, can I ask, you said break them up, so it doesn't impact our user experience to have multiple new activities as the way it would if we had one activity with multiple pages. Am I understanding
Oh
that
yeah,
correctly?
yeah. So yes, the solution to this problem is having multiple activities, because you can have an infinite. See, the design for activities is a lot better than the design for each of the slides, if you want. So
Okay,
you can have many activities, or
okay,
thousands, as a matter of fact. I know that
okay,
the upper limit might be around 2,000 at the moment. But yeah, you can go crazy.
okay, thank you.
I think somebody asked a question, Holly, to save dollars, consider, oh yeah, we talked about this. Would this save money? Sometimes I leave my camera. Am I costing Koala money for those minutes? Yeah, you are. You're not costing yourself money because you're not paying more, but you're costing us more money if you do that, for sure. Yeah, just to be clear, that I know the word AI is overused, and I was very cautious about using it today because obviously I hate that it's sort of a solution and that is in search of problems. You know what I mean? Like we have this brand new thing, it's going to solve all your problems. No, the way I see it is more like, well, there is a problem, which is I want to be able to create content real quickly. Let's say, again, I want to create a quiz real quickly. I want to create a series of sticky notes real quickly. And I think AI is a really powerful tool for that purpose specifically. To say AI, or at least to get you started, like to get a place to start with. Um, I don't really believe in AI replacing teachers. Like all this stuff is fluff, and there's a lot of hype around this. And don't when we use the word AI, please don't think of it like that. Think of it just like it's an optional thing, maybe, that you could use to go faster to create some content. Maybe. Okay. Just want to be clear on this.
Cynthia, you wanted to jump in?
I did. I'm one of those, Ben, that have lots of activities because I
Yeah.
reuse my activities. But
Yeah.
if there were a format where I could download it and keep it on my hard drive and
Sure.
then
Yeah.
put it back on, I wouldn't have to use all your space because I have
Yep.
a gamer desktop, so I have the
PC.
space to do it.
Yeah, space is not really a problem because activities are not that heavy, to be honest. Like
Uh-huh.
we don't pay that much money. Like the storage part is not horrible for us. However, yeah, I think it's mostly what we need to improve is the way they're organized. It's just like this giant list thing, and even having the search features and the labels is fine, but it doesn't seem to really cut it for a lot of folks here, from what I understand in the chat. It seems like it's just not enough. So we need to do better at presenting the information to you guys. All right, let's read some of the comments here. Can we get the option of left aligning the sticky note? Yeah, there's no alignment right now. You kind of have to eyeball it. It's not great. I understand.
That grid on the whiteboard, to align things is actually
Yeah.
pretty high in the Canny feature
Yep.
requests.
Yeah, no, I completely hear that. I'm happy with Koala's whiteboard features. Just having the option to write a sentence and place it on individual stickers would be a nice addition. However, what I'd really love is AI tools. Okay, well, some people are not that scared of AI, clearly. I like to use Koala with more adults, and I tried another platform where AI generated tasks were incredibly useful. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I think AI could actually be a really powerful tool to help you generate content. Like just the legwork of having to come up with animal names, or I don't know, whatever, things like that. AI is great for that. So you don't have to waste your time. You can spend your time on the important stuff, right? Like doing the actual class or making it interesting and things like that. Like just the legwork of populating sticky notes, populating quizzes, things like that. It's just so much work, and it's not a great use of your valuable time. So I understand what you're saying, Barbara. Yes, and it works well for tailored content. So should you have specific needs for specific students, it's great for that for sure. I would love to be able to use annotate on screen share. Oh yeah, yeah. All right, so annotate on screen share. One thing about screen share in the browser, because Koala is a browser app, you understood that it's not an individual app like Zoom is something you install on your computer. And that's great. It also comes with its own challenges, right? Like if you don't have Zoom installed, then you're, what do I do? Or you need to update it, whatever. One of the advantages of having Koala in the browser is that you don't worry about having to install Koala. If you have a browser, you're good to go. However, that comes with a downside is that browsers are pretty bad. I mean, you can do screen share, that works fine, right? However, you can't do things easily like what Zoom does, for example, screen control, like remote control, things like that. That's a little bit more tricky when you're in the browser because browsers are very limited in what they can do. Annotate is one of those things that's a little bit hard. It's doable, but it's not as nice as what you could have on Zoom, for example, where you can like overlay some drawings on the user's screen, for example. But I understand that's something you guys want. So maybe we should think about making an app as well as it being in the browser. I don't know. Got to think about this one. It's a good point. Yeah, WordWall is great. WordWall has lots of if you guys are familiar with WordWall, that's sort of the inspiration for our idea of like this tool drawer, right? Because they have pre-built games and you can customize them, such as like labels, matching text to images or images to images. They have anagrams, they have spinning wheels. I mean, they have all those things, right? And so we could totally build something similar to that inside of Koala, and you could just drag and drop it on the whiteboard and make it part of your content. That's sort of what we wanted to do. Would an app offer more stability? No, I don't think it would. I think it would be the exact same thing overall, and costs would be the same. I mean, we're not changing costs right now. We're not talking about changing anything when it comes to your cost. And for our costs, it wouldn't change anything. Would integrations with other sites, apps such as WordWall be possible instead of y'all building yourself? Well, maybe. Does WordWall have their own format, right? And we could embed it, but the only way for multiple people to interact with it at the same time is having it in a co-browser, which we already do, right? So in a way, we're sort of integrated with them already with the co-browser. Yeah, WordWall sometimes glitches. I think we can do better than. I mean, it's very ambitious for me to say that, and maybe a little bit arrogant, but there's a lot that WordWall is not perfect at, and we could probably do better than that. Yes, I use WordWall through the browser. I mean, in general, that's sort of the idea. Like, oh, there's a lot of tools on the internet, and then just use them in the co-browser. In most cases, it works fine. But anyways, okay. I have to leave. Okay, Sandra, thank you for joining, and I really appreciate all of you guys' input here. I think what we're going to do, hopefully you're on board with me here, is one, set up weekly meetings like this, maybe at a time that's more or less convenient for everybody. I think it's really valuable for everybody to do this, for us, obviously, but for the community as well. It also keeps us more accountable with like, hey, this is what we've been working on. And every week we could show you our progress on the different things we're doing. And having this weekly check-in would help us sort of keep track of the right direction that makes sense for you guys. So we don't veer off in a direction that is completely off of, what we need and what you guys need. And then we realize 6 months later, oh, shoot. Second thing is I'm understanding right now is that we want to improve the whiteboard first and foremost. Playground is cool, but it's not the primary tool for most folks. It might be in the future, but right now it's not. Let's just be honest. What you guys want is a more powerful, more ergonomic, easier to use whiteboard, right? I know for a lot of folks, it's the primary tool, Playground, and I'm not abandoning Playground. It's my baby. Okay, I've been working on this thing forever. I love Playground. It's not going away. I will die with Playground. Maybe I'll even die in Playground. So So, anyways, I say playground is a difference. Mark, we're not getting rid of playground, but my understanding is for a lot of folks, just getting Koala to be to a point with like being extremely useful means having a better whiteboard. And I could be wrong. Yeah, that's right. Nobody dies in playground, so you just fall and you respawn. That's right. Uh, weekly feels too frequent. Okay, yeah, we could do weekly or we could do bi-weekly. Maybe bi-weekly is better. I know once a month. Yeah, I just okay. Maybe Zad and I will talk about this, the frequency. But
And we've planned a bunch of events for 2025. You'll see a lot of collaborations with creators, with
yeah.
content creators from outside of the Koala ecosystem, etc. So maybe, I mean, there will be much more events in 2025, and on a regular basis, we'll have those events like this to catch up. I think it's just like the reason Ben is suggesting every week is that it's actually, self-care, self-love, or whatever your therapist is recommending you do more. For Ben is to talk with you guys. So he's just, doing he just really enjoys talking with you, and so do I. So but we'll make sure
Yeah.
for Ben's mental health, we'll make sure to schedule that on a regular basis. How does that sound?
Well, it's not just that, right? I think like the mistake that we've made that is sort of veer off in a direction for a long time and sort of
Yeah.
got lost in the woods and forgot what was important.
Without
I
thinking.
think having that check-in at a certain frequency helps us sort of keep the right direction.
I agree.
But yes,
And
it's true. I
maybe
do like talking to you guys. So
and maybe I don't know if you think that makes sense, Ben, but maybe one of us should go through the chat and try to have some kind of summary and see the best feature, the most requested feature, and we can maybe put it on a Facebook, make a survey on our Facebook group for everybody to vote, and also use that as data to see what to prioritize.
I agree with you, but I don't want to at this point in the process, I don't want to be thinking of specific features at a time. The first thing that we need to do right now is understand sort of a general theme here that we need to dig.
Yeah.
Because if we just think in terms of small features, I think we just adding patch after patch over something that might need some improvement from the ground up. That's my understanding. Like, I mean, if I heard you guys well today, a lot of you are saying, yeah, just adding stuff on top of it is not going to actually solve my particular problem, which is ease of use, and tools are not really great for a lot of these reasons and things like that. So, anyways, I'm reading here. We could all use self-care. Yep. Awesome. Well, I mean, I know we're out of time. Are we out of time? We're out of time. Yes, we're way past time, actually. I really appreciate you guys. And again, I personally want to apologize for having been disconnected for so long. And I have excuses. They're just excuses. They're not necessarily valid. Yeah, I really enjoy that you guys have stuck around. You're still with us. And I think we will be connecting more often. And I'm really excited actually about working again on things that are directly important for you guys.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is all good stuff. Thank you all for joining. If you have any other questions, feel free to shoot them. Do you need volunteers and employees to help with anything? I mean, we always need help with testing. I think if there's anything you guys can do to help us with testing stuff, and I think we might coordinate this with Tammy. She might help ask for some of your help on Facebook or whatever. But I really appreciate it, Sierra, for you to suggest that. Sweet. All right. Well, good to see you all.
Thank
Whatever
you,
time
everyone.
it is for you, I hope you have a good afternoon, good morning, whatever it is. And take it
Thank you,
easy.
guys.
Good to see you. Bye-bye.